This morning, I woke up, had a slight headache, had a little bit of an attitude, and as the morning progressed, I noticed my attitude was getting really bad. And it finally got to a point where my husband came into the kitchen, and I turned to him and I said, "Honey, please check me." And he was surprised. He said, "Why?" And I said, "Because I'm cursing. I'm cursing a lot in my head right now." He said, "Cursing? What do you mean cursing?" And I let him know, really bad words, bad like military bad words like you hear in the movies, or they're just constantly going nonstop. And I was very angry. And he said, "Well, I'm glad you told me that. I'm going to go check you." So he left, and sure enough, there were some possessions, attachments, and he got those cleared away, and my attitude, anger, and everything went away as well. But my husband came back and said I did a really good job, because he could not tell that there was anything different about me. He just thought everything was fine. So I did a good job at concealing it. That doesn't mean we're supposed to conceal it either. Our topic for today is monitoring yourself. And I know for me, I do monitor myself. My husband can share with you some stories about how all of a sudden I'll just start snapping, or I'll look different to him in some way. But for me, there have been times when my husband hasn't been able to see a difference, but for me, I feel it, and it's as if I'm being physically held back from even saying, "Honey, please check me." So as you go through this process and have clearing work done on you, even healing work, make sure you pay attention to what's happening with you. If you start doing things that you haven't done in a while, or things that are out of character for yourself, reach out as quick as you can for help. Did I cover that well enough, hon?
Well, I have one question.
Yes.
You said if they're doing things that they haven't done in a while, what if they've always cursed?
Yes, so then...
So they won't reach out?
I don't know, but I know for me, I used to curse a lot, and I've shared this with my husband that before...
I've never heard her curse, by the way.
No, it's always been in my head.
She's never cursed. I thought, thank God I don't hear it.
Don't say it out loud. Ever. Well, when I was younger, before I met my husband, I would, but I did my best to make sure that I didn't do it anytime after that. So when I start hearing curse words coming into my head, I know there's something wrong.
That doesn't answer the question, though. So
what was your question again? Sorry.
So if someone does something regularly, for example, if people curse all the time, or they drink all the time, and then they start to drink or curse, how do they know if they're supposed to reach out when it's something to do all the time?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. It's very simple.
How?
Because normally when someone requests help from us, what's the first thing we're guided to do?
Clear them.
And once you clear them, what happens?
A lot of these things go away.
Right. From all the messages we've gotten,
right.
People feel great.
They feel
the best
calm,
they've felt in
peaceful.
a long time. Exactly. And then what do you normally send them as far as the message goes?
That clearing work was done on them.
No. After they send you a message like that, what do you normally tell them?
Thank God for that. That they should remember how they feel, this calm, this peace.
Exactly.
And if that is not like that anymore, they need to let us know right away.
Bingo. Now, if you're at peace and at calm, would you be cursing?
No.
Exactly. Would you be drinking?
No.
You have no reason to drink.
No reason to do anything.
And that's how they would know.
Like that.
There's a difference between what they were doing before, how they were feeling before they contacted us, and once work is done on them, and then that becomes their new threshold, right? They know, okay, this is the one I'm supposed to be feeling all the time.
That's the new baseline.
Exactly. Oh, that's right. Threshold, baseline. Okay. And when they're not feeling that way, when they start to feel like the old self is coming back, that's when they're supposed to kind of say, listen, just as we get messages, right? Please check me, or I need to be checked. Mm-hmm. I don't know what other messages that folks send. What else do they send?
Oh, they'll give some detail. This is what I'm doing. I think I need to be checked.
Okay, or they might say, I snapped at my child. I was mad at my child.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. So
all of a sudden just got angry for no reason. Mm-hmm.
So that's the question I had. Now we go forward. I guess.
Okay.
We're talking, actually. We're discussing what it's about.
Right.
Here's a question they might be asking, what do you mean? How do I monitor myself? Well, like you said, you've gotten really good at, in the beginning, your attitude will be really bad.
Yes.
And you'd be snapping at the kids and even at myself. You'd even tell me that I'm telling you things which I've never told you. So this is what you're telling me. I said, what? Where did you get that from, right? Remember that?
Yep. And it'd all be in my head.
And now it's improved a lot as
Oh, yes.
parents have been done. And like you said, it gets to the point where, yes, there are times, I guess, when it gets really bad, I can tell. And we have an agreement. What's that agreement?
That if you start asking me, are you okay? Something bothering you? Then my husband should just check me. Because I'm not able to tell at that point that something is off with myself.
But I can tell, because you look different and your frequency is different. I can feel your frequency. So when that feels different, then I know, or I tell about the other one where all of a sudden I don't want you around me.
Yes.
They say, I want nothing to do with you. And then I'm wondering, why is that? And then I know that my higher spirit, or my spirit guides are saying, stay away from her. And she's loaded right now. And once that happens, I'm okay, let me go check and see what's going on. And once I check, sure enough, loaded like a TNT truck filled with dynamite. So I hope those examples help elicit it. But now, how do you monitor yourself? Because I think that's what people might be asking, right? So how do they monitor themselves? I know we've given some examples, but...
Right, it's really just starting to pay more attention to yourself. That's all I can describe it. It's after you've been cleared once and you know how you felt so at peace. And for me, it was just like a wave of relief and lightness about me. And I just felt like everything was fine. There was no cause for worry or stress about anything. And so when I start to feel tense or getting myself worked up about something, I know something is out of tune with myself and I have to go and ask my husband to check me.
When you say you feel calm and everything, it reminds me of that World's Strictest Parents that we watched where the girl talked about the weed. maybe you're high.
No, I'm not using the weed, but if that's the kind of feeling it is great. I just prefer it without the weed. I've never done that and won't ever do that. But it's, so for me, I know. Or all of a sudden I might wake up in the morning, and I've told my husband this so many times, where all of a sudden my whole body, my joints just feel like they're swollen and achy, which is unusual. That shouldn't be for me. So he'll check me, and for anybody.
Right.
Well, I'm giving my story. And then he'll check me, and sure enough, there's something there, and it has to be cleared. So just...
Then the question becomes, where do you get them from? Well,
yeah.
See, me, I'd be thinking, this is just me, my old skeptic self, right? Well, she's married to him, and he does all this spiritual work.
Yep.
Why is it that she gets all these possessions and attachments?
Because my frequency and vibration has not been elevated and doesn't stay elevated. And I haven't figured out why. We're working on that, but...
It comes back to emotions. That's
it's
what
emotions.
Frequencies are tied to emotions.
And yes, I'm a very emotional creature right now. I mean, I've been working at it, and I've gotten a lot better with them, but it's still a challenge. So when I speak with someone, over the telephone, in person, wherever it may be, I talk with them, and if they've got something on them and my frequency is matching theirs, boom, they attach to me.
Well, you might have answered a question for somebody asking, well, how do you get these attachments and possessions? Because a lot of people say, well, I didn't do anything. Well, you spoke with somebody, you were around some people, you watched a movie.
Right, for me,
type of music.
But to be careful with music and movies for me, because if I get emotional during a movie or listening to music, they can find me and attach to me that way too.
Now, when you say emotional, how about if you're more specific? Because if you're happy, does that cause a challenge?
Well, I don't know, because I cry tears of happiness in movies. Like, oh, it's such a good movie.
That's tears of happiness?
Yes, tears will come down my face, tears of happiness.
Were you happy?
Oh, but I'm happy.
Okay, folks, I don't know about that one.
Or with really intense movies, where it's a lot of action and just suspense, that gets me as well, and I get emotional with that because I'm feeling those emotions, and of course my frequency is lowered, and I get attachments and
Well,
possessions from that.
The one that you said is emotions of happiness.
Yes.
Why are they emotions of happiness? And I just got this answer because I was just dumbfounded by that statement. They're emotions of happiness because you were sad earlier.
Oh.
Something happened in a movie that kept you sad, and you kept hoping for things to get resolved. And when they got resolved, you were happy.
Okay.
Is that what normally happens?
Yes.
Exactly. So when you're there,
So it's
the
when
sad part,
the sadness part that took place. So it's when the sadness part that's going on.
see, you forgot about that part.
I did.
Because you were happy.
Yes, I was happy.
All right. So if you think about it, what lowers frequency? It all goes back to emotions. It's been said many times. It's been proven by scientists, by different people. That, and I'll give a conservative number, I'll say 70-75% of illnesses are caused by stress. Nothing else but stress. Okay? Now, it could be silent stress, as in someone doesn't want to say anything. You might think that person has no challenges because they never speak about anything, they're quiet, they pretend everything's alright, but it's building up inside. That is still stress. And a lot of people do that. Especially guys, because they want to appear strong for their family, right?
Right.
So they hold a lot of things inside. Then, of course, you have things that happen. For example, something happens in regular life on a daily basis where someone gets upset. They allow themselves to get upset. When that happens, that's more stress. But if you notice, it's all tied to emotions.
Right, it is.
All right? And so every time that happens, there is something out there that attaches to you that has the same frequency. People, and then folks say, well, what do you mean they're out there? Well, they're just like germs, bacteria. Germs and bacteria are out there all the time.
They're everywhere.
But nobody goes saying, well, I'm not going to breathe today because I might swallow germs. Or I'm not going to open my mouth because the bacteria might get in there. People don't think that way. Well, it's the same thing with these entities, these negative entities that are out there. They're out there floating around and they're just waiting for the right moment to attach.
Okay.
So any other way that you might lower frequency? Well, of course, if you get injured, again, it goes back to emotions. Because
Right.
you get hit and then your whole body goes into that shock and pain and emotions are
Well, I know
involved
for
as well.
me, my frequency used to get lowered a lot when I was around radiation. Radiation from what?
Oh, that's
From the
right.
electric stove, from electrical outlets, from just being around cell towers. It could even be just in our house with all the electronics that are in the house. My husband has neutralized them, thank God. But I used to get a lot of attachments just from going to the soccer complex where I run the concessions business and from the stove there.
And cramps.
And a lot
You
of
see,
cramping in
cramps
my
and
legs.
headaches.
Oh yes.
So I see, there you go too, because so getting back to how do you monitor yourself? So once you're cleared, a lot of things go away, right? And we've had individuals tell us, oh, I used to have this pain for years, this neck pain or back pain. And then all of a sudden it's gone. Of course it's not gone forever because you go and get attachments again, it can come back.
Right.
And so that's why people might think, well, the clearing work doesn't work. It does work, you know it, because you feel different. But then you expose yourself again to that type of frequency, and you happen to be at a lower frequency, and then bang, you get attached. It gets attached to you again.
Right.
So then what happens? All of a sudden you feel like you used to feel. In some ways, you might that pain that you had before. It could be a headache. It could be a backache, shoulders hurt, leg cramps. Practically, it's almost anything, right?
Right.
But,
Attitude,
especially attitude, and that's the one.
anger.
Just to say, folks, it's not normal. You could talk about this a little bit. It's not normal for someone to feel out of sorts.
Right.
It's not normal for you to get mad at somebody. Now, you might do it all the time, but tells you that something has to be done because you should not be upset. Okay? It just shouldn't happen. And if it does happen, it tells you, okay, check and see what's going on. Something's messing with you.
Right.
More than likely, there's something messing with you. People say, I'm short of patience. Well, there's something messing with you.
Oh yes, I've
Okay.
had that too. But I know also, as we're talking here, Schumann's resonance, which is the natural frequency of the earth. There are times when my body has gone out of sync with the Schumann's resonance, and my frequency is lowered, and I get attachments that way, which blew my mind when my husband first explained that to me. So now I make sure to walk around barefoot to try and stay within the same energy of the earth, so that doesn't happen anymore, because I didn't used to do that before, but it's important for me.
Is that why you're doing that?
Yes.
I used to tell her to walk barefoot, folks, and I guess she was going to say he's from a third world country. What does he know? I'm not listening to him.
I don't walk barefoot because I don't like the way anything feels under my feet. I just don't like anything poking me, different sensations. I just don't like it.
Now you're doing it.
I'm doing it and I'm tolerating it. Constantly wiping my feet as I go throughout the day, but I'm doing it because it's for my own benefit.
Is it helping?
I think so.
I guess it does, because you don't complain about a lot of things that you used to.
Right.
It's not as often, it doesn't occur as often.
Right.
So
Another
good.
thing that caused me to be attracting, to have a lower frequency is because we had water veins running underneath our house and our room.
Right.
And, moving our bed helped, and then my husband was able to neutralize the energy on those. So that was another thing that caused for my body frequency to be lowered.
I used to get a lot of leg cramps from that.
A lot of back and neck aches
right.
and headaches.
And those are gone.
I felt like I was taking Advil every night because of headaches.
Wow, you've come a long way. Eh?
Yes.
You used to be broken.
I was never broken. Just a little out of balance, maybe. Never broken.
I had a broken wife.
So these are things that you can start paying attention to as well. If you don't know where it came from, you could always ask him, will you please check where that might have come from? And if my husband is told, we'll relay it to you. Otherwise, if you're starting to pay attention to how you feel in different places, you could figure it out for yourself.
That's kind of tough for them to figure out. How will they know that it's underwater?
Well, they won't. That's why I'm saying they should ask if they're not sure what it could be. I mean, we have individuals who say, you know what, I was doing this earlier today and now I'm feeling like this. Is that because of this thing that I did earlier? And then we can let them know, because some of them are paying attention to what's happening with themselves.
Oh, you mean the environment that they're in, but not really the cause.
Right.
But they wouldn't know the cause.
True.
And sometimes we do ask them, like the more, I'd say the more advanced individuals, right? Mm-hmm. Now, because you do get to a point where I start to have you troubleshoot, right?
Yes.
Notice that, right? In the beginning, we give you all the information. Oh, here's the source, here's what's causing it. And then, because we're treating you like that newborn. Mm-hmm. But later on, as you advance, I mean, we have some folks now that are being taught how to heal themselves. Mm-hmm. Not many, but we actually have some that we're teaching them how to heal themselves.
Right.
So, and those I ask quite when something happens, like just the other day, I think yesterday or the day before, I told about that call I had with one individual where I was telling her, I said, it really bothers me that I have to do healing work on you.
Oh, a couple days ago.
A couple days ago.
Right.
And she started laughing and she said, but I understand, because she knows that she's been doing well, and when something happens, she was able to take care of it. All of a sudden, that changed. So of course, I'm like, what are you doing? Why that changed? You shouldn't be. This should not be happening. I should not be doing healing work on you.
Right.
Now I won't tell that to a new person, they might think I'm mean. What's up with this guy?
I don't even know this stuff. How does he expect me to know this stuff?
But, so anyway, it gets to that point. So he starts out with give you information. Later on, you figure it out. So that's why I say in the beginning, they wouldn't know what's causing it, but they would know, okay, I was in this environment, or maybe you might ask them, well, who did you talk to last? Were you watching, what show were you watching? And then they'll know, oh, it's because I watched that show.
Right.
And that's how we start to build it up. But the first thing is to start paying attention to you, the person,
right.
Your attitude, how you're feeling. If you get up in the morning and you're having aches and pains,
or
that's
headaches
not normal.
or tension anywhere.
Right. Now maybe you've lived with it for years, so you think it's normal. It is not normal.
It's not normal.
Okay? And that's where we can help you with those things. If you're always mad at your kids or your spouse, even if your spouse is giving you trouble, it's not normal. All right? No matter what your spouse could be cheating with 5 women. It's not normal for you to be mad at your spouse's actions, because those are his actions. I know that sounds crazy, but once you get to understand, you'll know that you can control your frequency and still deal with the infidelity of the infidel.
You are in complete control of your entire world.
Right.
And you'll start to learn that as
But-
you work together.
But the beginning is after we do the initial clearing, to make that experience that you have once you get that message. This is how I'm supposed to feel, you know. And once you can memorize that, that becomes that point of reference. There you go.
Yes.
That point of reference for you, the individual, and now you know. Every time I'm not feeling this way, which is that fantastic feeling, it's time for me to send a message. That's it.
Okay.
And then you won't be like my wife, telling me that you're cursing, and I'll be like, what? My wife doesn't curse. And then I realized it was all in her head, but she was really cursing. I don't know what kind of words those are. She said military words. I don't know what those are either.
Ooh, they're bad ones.
Bad ones?
Oh, really bad.
Oh, okay. My wife was saying
Yeah.
really bad words to me.
Really
How do you
bad
even know bad words to say? You don't even know how to curse. So I don't even know what you're talking about.
He has this immaculate concept about me that I can't do anything wrong, and that I never did anything wrong. But in my life previous to him, I did a lot of not so good things.
Or so she claims. There's no proof, by the way. So how do we know?
Okay, so we're gonna end this video here. If you have any comments or questions, please be sure to send them to us, and we'll see you in the next video.
How about subscribe? And
Oh
like
yes,
all
that's
that
right.
stuff?
Like the video, subscribe to our channel, check out our webpage, 190vision.com. On Instagram, it's 190vision as well. Facebook, we have a group that is private where you can share your thoughts and experiences, and that is called Clearing, Healing, and Guidance.
Oh, and by the way, on the website, the testimonials are to the bottom of the page.
Oh yes, to get the testimonials, you scroll to the very bottom of the page, and you'll see a little button there, testimonials.
My wife sent somebody to the website and
They
she
couldn't find it.
They couldn't find it. She gave them wrong instructions. So just to let you know. All right, we're all set.
Bye.
Bye.